Hey Guardians, your friendly neighborhood Ark Hunter here again. What if I told you that Prismatic is technically already in the game? Alright, check this one out. So, we've got our artifact, right? Flint Striker. Rapid solar weapon precision hits and rapid final blows grant radiant. There's a ton of adds in Onslaught. So this basically just becomes a radiant source in a can. In addition to stacking with worm byproduct. On top of that, this build gets access to Void Overshields from Mothkeepers. And also both Jolt and Blind. Recommend running the Flashbang if you want to keep your grenade cooldown low, but you could also run Skips and then just have Shinobus as a swap exotic if you're running PvP. I prefer to run Mothkeepers in most cases if I'm playing PvE content, just because they're incredibly handy and probably the single most broken exotic in this game, because it lets Arc Hunter do things that only Strand Hunter and Void Hunter should be able to get away with, basically, without like massively playing out of your mind. The overshields are incredibly reliable. Once you learn how the Moth AI works, they are super consistent. But it does require a little bit of finesse. Now, my preferred primary here is long arm, just because I love long arm. This thing's really great, and proccing Jolt with this and explosive payload is really easy. Also, if you ever see a 120 scout that has Tex, Balak Stock, and explosive payload, do not delete it. This actually will proc Tex, Balak, and Stock around corners in both PvE and PvP. Then the militias here actually isn't for blinding. This is for just killing things. Because, again, Onslaught has a ton of big adds, and grenade launchers, classically, you just have a ton of ammo efficiency. And this one I like because it lets me have 2 shots at the disposal, and I can just swap away and swap back and basically treat it like an ignition code, in addition to having ALH. Yeah, you don't get the Vorpal damage, but against most light trash, do you really need Vorpal damage? Probably not. Again, it's up to you. This is just my build. Let me just go over the whole shebang here real quick. You can see what fragments I have equipped. I got Gambler's Dodge, Blink, probably Hunter's most important survivability tool. This, in both PvE and PvP, literally just moves every single piece of cover closer to you. Combination Blow, because Disorienting Blow has its niche uses, but because of how Flow State and Lethal Current interact together, it is basically a no-brainer. I'm really excited for the next Arc Fragment to actually give something that competes with this combo right here, because I honestly think that this combo cannot be nerfed without completely gutting one or both of these aspects. So attacking any blinded or attacking any jolted enemy with your melee, charge melee, this combination build is basically always charged. Will blind them. So the idea of what you want to do is you want to hit them with mobs. And what you can do is a piece of tech I call mothballing. If you hit any enemy with any grenade that does a debuff in Destiny 2, it will apply that debuff immediately. This can be done to stun overloads on stasis with cold snap grenades, because the cold snap grenade will actually apply slow first before freezing if it hits the enemy directly. It's a real advanced tech. Not really. I wouldn't really recommend going for it unless you know what the hell you're doing. But if you do, by all means, more power to you. So what you can do is you can mothball and overload, and then just hit it with anything, and it will stun. Same goes with Tormentors. You mothball them, and then you use Blink to close the gap, and you can just combination blow, chain stun them quite literally forever, because you have enough sources of Jolt in this kit that you can basically keep any single Tormentor stun locked as long as possible, as long as it's not a boss Tormentor. This is basically just an off-the-cuff ramble explaining the reasoning behind my cute little Onslaught loadout. But yeah, so see, I got Parasite here, long arm, I have adept projectile speed on here. It's a personal preference. I like having my grenade launchers be fast. I'll probably end up replacing this with a mountaintop at some point, because mountaintop can get sticky nades, and if I can get a decent enough mountaintop with sticky nades and a damage perk maybe in column 4, it'll probably be a good replacement. But this is also just incredibly solid for both PvE and PvP. This is actually my main PvP GL as well. As for mods here, let's go ahead and do the breakdown here. We got on your helmet, we got Brazil. I basically want to try to keep 100 Brazil, 100 discipline. Mobility is at 50. I honestly don't think, if you're playing Arc, you shouldn't be running 50 mobility. You shouldn't be running 100 mobility at all, because what you can do is, where is it? Spark of Haste gives you 30 mobility. That's 80 mobility. Add in a lightweight weapon, like, say, right here, my Militia's Birthright, my funny walking stick. And when you're sprinting, your dodge will basically always have 100 you'll have 100 mobility, and your dodge will have full cooldown on reduction. Which you can also then stack, which I don't do this anymore, but I used to on my Dragon Shadow build. Where is it? Again, I'm doing this off the cuff. Here we go. Spark of Focus is very good to run with that, but just keep in mind that you are losing the 10 mobility. That's kind of important to keep your dodge up. You can run Marksman's Dodge if you like, but I just think that Gambler's Dodge on Arc Strider, it's the tried and true classic. Then I'm running Spark of Ions for jolted enemies to create traces. Spark of Resistance to make sure I don't get my ass kicked, and this DR, I believe, also stacks with the Void Overshield damage resistance, which I think they might have even buffed at some point. I don't know. Last I remember, it was like 50% or something crazy like that. I'd have to check massive breakdowns. This is just for jolting, because this is the main thing that keeps the jolt engine going. I also recommend that if you want to use an exotic primary for this, I recommend something like Thorn or Lemon Arc, something that has tick damage, or if you could even use Wither Horde actually, because what you want to do is you want to jolt as many things and then have a constant rolling source of damage to keep proccing the jolt to just chain everything to death. It's a classic combo. I think that should be everything. I have a Solar Holster on here because Solar Holster actually does work with Parasite, is the only single magazine grenade launcher that actually can be holstered, to my knowledge. And then on my cloak, I just have Bomber, Powerful Attraction, Reaper. Highly recommend this build if you are an Arc Hunter and you want to try something new. I've never seen anyone else run a build like this at the same, like, in any GM. I absolutely love this build because what it does is it basically does the same thing that a Well of Radiance Warlock can do, but instead you're blinding all the enemies and making sure they don't shoot you, and that is basically 100% damage reduction. Your basic MO is to just get in there, blind people, and then just draw aggro. You're basically like a main tank from an MMO, with your upkeep being your health, which you can do using Flow State and Lethal Current, along with Combination Blow. This is basically more or less how I used to play Halo 3 ODST as well, back when I did Vidmaster Endure, because Black Eye does the exact same thing, where if you punch an enemy and kill them, I think it was actually if you just even punched an enemy, it would start regenerating your shields, but in Destiny 2 you have to kill them. Which is why you have to be careful with the Jolt explosion, because it's actually the final blow of Combination Blow, I believe, that kills them. That has to kill them to get the health back. Anyway, thanks for just coming here and listening to me ramble about Arc Hunter. If you want to throw a like, you can. I just love playing Arc Hunter a lot, and I never see anyone play Arc Hunter at high level. I feel like I'm practically one of, like, the 2 people that does. And if you do see someone play Arc Hunter, they're usually running something like a, you know the one, Liar's Handshake, Assassin's Cowl. But honestly, I don't even think you need those anymore. Not if you know what you're doing, if you know how to space yourself properly, and you know how to judge your engagement distances and the threat level of incoming enemies. It's an incredibly highly advanced playstyle that I will probably make a more in-depth guide on and in the future, and it's something I really would love to do because I think that we should have more Arc Hunters out there because they're incredibly valuable to your team. I run Gathering Storm for specifically Onslaught because it is basically just set and forget, clears that entire corridor for you. Anything that runs through it is jolted, can be handled by the rest of your team. But yeah, thanks for listening again to my ramble, and I hope y'all have a good one, and I will see you all later.